proposed minutes from the February 22nd meeting, and I believe those have been made. I was absent for that, so I will trust the other board members to have read that.
Do we need one motion for both sets of minutes? Is that fine?
Yeah,
Okay.
fine if they're both good.
I move to approve the minutes as presented for February 22nd and March 22nd meetings.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you. All right, we have one order of old business, the Lakeview West Estates Phase 3, lots 15 through 18, Track G, final plat.
Yes, this final plat is a renewal of an existing formerly approved preliminary plat and final plat, I'm sorry. And the applicant has submitted everything necessary to this point, including all the septic approvals from the health department for us to recommend approvals filed, and that's what we do.
And just for clarity, it was just because it expired
Correct.
over a year?
It was already approved, and the year elapsed before it was recorded, so
Okay.
had to do it again.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion on Lakeview West Estates Phase 3, lots 15 through 18, Track G, final plat.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
To approve? Okay, all right, and a second to approve, all right. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Lock Ridge Estates, Tract A, final plat.
Yes, this is a one lot recombination, or it's a 7-acre tract. The applicant has advised us there's additional property that needs to be shown, so they are requesting a deferral to the May 24th planning board agenda.
I'll entertain a motion to defer to the May meeting.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That will be deferred to the May meeting. Dillon subdivision tracks 1 through 3, final plat.
Yes, this subdivision is it's a 3-lot subdivision, and our information was not fully up to date with regard to the sewer septic system situation. Our approval was subject to the providing perks or proof they had a valid septic system for tracks 2 and 3. According to the applicant, track 2 has sewer that I'm not sure where it's coming from, but they need to provide us proof of that. And track 3 needs a new DR to establish that the system works properly that's in place, or that they allege is in place on it. So our recommendation would be approval subject to them providing us proof of sewer on track 3 and a DR approved septic system on track 3.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, what's a DR?
It's a guy that does perk tests.
Designated representative.
Yeah.
Those are the people that the health department licensed to do the soil test.
Do
Okay.
soil sample, yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Two.
And,
Oh, wait. Who is the second?
Patricia Blake.
yep. All right, any discussion?
I do have a question.
Okay.
On these that we soft approve, and this is a final plat, does that mean that the lot may not be conveyed until it has been signed?
Correct.
And so I just want to know for myself, what is the purpose of approving a final plat with something still hanging out there? They can't do anything anyway, is that correct?
Right, but they don't have to wait for an artificial date of May 24th in order to have it executed. are approved by the planning board and then executed subsequent to that by the staff, so it puts them off a month. If they can get it done in 3 days, then they can get it executed by us and recorded, so it saves them some time.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any further questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No,
Okay, motion carries. LaFave subdivision, Lot 1, final plat.
Yes, this. Then unfold it. This is straight up 1 lot plat on Jacksonville Conway Road. The applicant has, I think they provided everything for the staff to recommend approval of file. There's no outstanding issues on this 1 lot plat.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion on LaFave subdivision, Lot 1, final plat.
I make a motion to approve the Fave subdivision Lot 1 final plat.
Second?
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Church subdivision, tracks 1 and 2, final plat.
Yes, this is I think it's a 2 lot. Where this one too. Sorry. Stuck in the past. Yes, this is a 2 lot plat on Panther Mountain Road, final plat. Staff has received, let me see, we have resolved all the issues except the number 33 dedication of right of way. And our county attorney would like to speak to that issue.
Okay.
He's close here.
Okay.
We don't like waiting on lawyers.
Well, you need to complain to the bar.
Maybe they're duking it
I
out.
better watch out. I'll be stepping on my own.
That's right, somebody may know something to you.
Mr. Chairman, the county attorney will be here in a second.
Okay, thank you.
On Easter.
Some lawyers charge by the hour now.
That's a nice combo right there.
Thanks, I
Like the applicant.
Never really bought all this.
Charge for the What?
They're working on some.
I know.
I was a heathen this Easter. I was a heathen, I didn't even,
If y'all can bear with me a few minutes, I made a phone call and they're about to call me back, so.
And I'm sorry, could you tell me, what's your name?
Oh, I'm sorry, I just figured everybody knew who I was. I'm Aaron Robinson with Bond Engineering.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. So I'll give some context on the delay for just a moment. The applicant has obviously is here for and requesting a lot split under the subdivision ordinance. The subdivision ordinance requires this body to seek an additional right-of-way on substandard width rights-of-way. The standard right-of-way in Pulaski County is 60 feet according to the master road plan. This has a 50-foot right-of-way, and so the request in accordance with that ordinance is for a half-street, essentially a half-street dedication, which would be an additional 5 feet on that side of the street. the law requires where an existing right-of-way is, and it's not a request that's proportionate to some injury that's being harmed by the proposed land use, that fair market value be paid for any dedication. The property owner, within his rights, requested payment of fair market value, and so in analysis of whether the county needed that to purchase that today, it was, I think, determined that it does not appear that there is a future need, or we can't identify the future need today. There may be a future need for that right of way, but it cannot be identified today. And because of that, administratively, the way to handle that is two ways. One, for the applicant to request a variance from the requirements of the ordinance, which this body has the authority to grant. Because a variance hasn't been applied for, that option would result in a delay to the next month. Alternatively, administratively, it might be handled if the property owner agrees to dedicate that right of way in the event that the county moves forward with redevelopment of that road in the next subsequent years. So right now, we're, if y'all wouldn't mind, waiting just a few minutes to see if the property owner and applicant have a preference on which way to move forward. That's what's being considered by the applicant right now.
Okay. And the gentleman from Bond is going to be the representative to speak?
Yes, he's the representative for the applicant.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
But he didn't know which way to go now.
Well, he was just on the phone with him, so I think he's waiting on the call back.
Yeah, I mean, so you know, this, yeah, the property is, and I think that's him. No. The property is being split. It's 3 tracts of an unrecorded subdivision. So we're replatting it or platting it into 2 tracts. The smaller tract they're wanting to build a house on. So it's all tying to the closing of the loan. So if they're trying to close the loan sooner than later, I don't know what their timeline is on their loan, but if they're trying to get their loan, then they're willing to probably go this route. If their loan isn't for 60 more days, then they'll wait and do the waiver or variance. So that's what we're trying to figure out.
Makes sense. Willing to wait a few minutes it may save them a whole point on interest.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question?
Sure.
So, Mr. Fogelman, so what area are we talking about having it's not an easement, right?
It would be a right-of-way dedication.
Okay.
It would be, so right now, on the southern boundary of the parcel, you can see the dedicated right-of-way, or the right-of-way as it exists.
Okay.
It is a 50-foot right-of-way through that area for that particular street. The county master road plan calls for a 60-foot right-of-way, and it's a whole different conversation if we're talking about a newly developed subdivision. But this is an existing subdivision with existing roads, existing access, existing utilities. And under that circumstance, it would be the responsibility of the county to pay for the fair market value of that land taken. And so then really we need to determine if it's fruitful for the county to pursue that today, or if it's a consideration that can wait for another day.
Okay.
So he did let me know that they can wait the 30 days. So they can defer till next month.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I move to defer this matter to the May meeting.
Second.
All right. Second, Mr. Hayes. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I think we have a distinguished guest you might want to recognize that's walking around out there. Oh, he went out the door.
I'm not calling him out. Not when he's walking away.
I wouldn't either.
All right. Okay, so then we'll just move right into, I guess I need to, I don't remember, do we need a motion to adjourn the Pulaski County Planning Commission?
Is
I would
there
think
any
so.
staff or chairman communication first for the planning board?
That's a good question of staff. I have none from me.
If not, we can adjourn the planning board.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a question, if I
Sure.
may. Just a couple questions of staff. Jim, you had mentioned that maybe next month there might be a Zoom option available. Is that going to
I
happen?
think so.
Okay. So there'll be a hybrid approach. People, the
Well-
community can.
Probably what we'll do is have the chairman running the laptop, and anybody that calls in will be able to see the chairman. We won't have a camera set up showing the whole thing yet.
Sure.
So we may do that, but we will have a Zoom option.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And I have one more question.
Sure.
I was at the Quorum Court meeting on April the 12th, and that's the agenda meeting that they had. And our notification amendments were to be presented at that meeting, but they were pulled at the last moment, and J.P. Massey and Judge Hyde had indicated Van had asked them to pull the notification amendment. And so I was just wondering if Van could give his reason for that, and also what you had mentioned to me about it appearing it should appear in the May agenda meeting.
Oh, yeah. According to what I've been told, the amendments will go on the May Quorum Court agenda. And there was some confusion. There was a fair amount of confusion between the Quorum Court coordinator, myself, the judge's office, and others as to that's the reason that it got, I call it deferred. What are they? Tabled, or they don't say deferred, they say tabled.
Postponed for 30 days.
Yeah, well, okay, postponed, pick your poison. At any rate, it'll be on the May agenda, and so that's all I can tell you about it.
Oh, thank you. And are
Sure.
these meetings going to still be recorded like they have been with the Zoom?
Recording right there.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions?
Move adjourned.
All right.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the planning board is adjourned, and we will move to the Pulaski County Board of Zoning Adjustment. So I call this meeting to order, and Angela will stick with the same roll call. No one's left, no one's come in, so I think we're good there. No previous minutes to approve and no old business. So the new item of business is the Mark and Lori White solar array variance request. Van, if you'd like to do the honors.
Yes, the zoning ordinance, Lake Momel zoning ordinance, allows residential solar usage, or application of solar to residential property. The limit was 10 kilowatts, and I think that was based on my recollection, it was a last minute idea in the first place for us to have solar in the watershed. Nobody opposed the solar in the watershed with regard to, residential use, not solar fields per se. So that was added in, and the 10 kilowatts, I guess, was probably an artificial standard, or my estimation is artificial, because a 10 kilowatt system does not provide, it won't provide enough for a replacement of the energy used by a large single-family house. So this application was applied out there, and it exceeds, it's 5.3 kilowatt more than the standard. So the staff is supportive of amending the zoning ordinance to what we determined to be, what did we say, 20?
We've actually got, if you look there,
Mhm.
it'll run the typical 2,000, 2,500 square foot house. You're looking at startup wattage of about 32,000 kilowatts and running wattage of about 22,000 kilowatts. So it's quite a bit more than the 10%, and that's what your home typically would draw. And that's running your HVAC unit, your water heater, and all your other large voltage lights.
So how many kilowatt hours would it take to a facility to run a large single-family house?
About 22 to 30,000, 20 to 30,000
A month?
a day.
22,000?
Well, 22 kilowatts.
Yeah.
Kilowatts.
22 kilowatt. I'm thinking, well, there's something wrong there. We'll never get there. We'll
Yeah,
never-
there you go.
22 kilowatts. Okay, that's the point I was trying to make, is what it would take to do that. And
Right.
so the staff is supportive of this variance with the idea that I think the intention was, and when we established this, is to allow somebody to replace their own usage from their single-family house. So we don't have a problem with this variance, and the staff recommends approval of that.
Move for approval.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, and as we move to the discussion, are there any discussion, is there any discussion for board members?
Yeah, maybe Van can answer. It's only a matter, the only restriction, I guess, on it is how much power it's producing, not like the square footage it takes up or anything. That seems like it'd be more of an environmental concern.
In the zoning ordinance, there are 4 or 5 bullet points that fall under that small scale solar definition. One was 10 kilowatts. Second was located on the owner's premises, primarily intended to offset some or all of the owner's electrical needs.
Uh-huh.
And is I think it's subordinate in use to the residents, so it can't be more than what the residents would use.
Okay.
And those are the requirements listed in the zoning ordinance definition.
You can't run an extension cord to his house and take off the excess.
I don't know, I mean, it's really just intended to be for that house.
Replacement usage for one single-family house, not a commercial application.
Right.
Is the bottom line of the story.
Okay. Thank you.
And this application meets the other 3 requirements, it just exceeds the wattage.
Okay. Any further discussion from the board members? Okay, is there Kathleen Olson? Oh, yes, of course. It's been too long. I'm sorry. Of course.
I'm Kathleen Olson, League of Women Voters, and it's good to be back with real people.
It is.
Certainly.
It
Good
is.
to see everyone. I really have some questions on this because, as the staff has already described, that this didn't get really flushed out when they put it in. It sounds like, and it seems to me that there's some conflicts. If something says part and all, all could be something huge that people wouldn't want. This application, I don't have an issue with this application. Also, I have a question because the staff indicated they wanted to amend the ordinance, or you use the word amend the ordinance. Is that what you're trying to do with this, or just offering a variance?
We're offering a variance, support of the variance on this particular application, but going forward in the future, we want to amend the ordinance to address this.
Right, and that's what I was up here. There's something that needs to be done to do something about the conflicts that are in it. But this is not the time you're taking to amend it.
No.
Okay, good. And you're going to open that up for discussion and have.
Well, at some point when we have an amendment, yes.
When you have an amendment that
Correct.
goes up in 11.
But that is not on the agenda today.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Yep.
One
bet.
of the things, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
One of the things that is happening across the country, at least I used to be much more involved with this when I was at City Hall, is if you generate excess, electricity over and above what you use, you feed it back into the grid, and it helps reduce the need for excess, or helps reduce the need, if it's done on a large scale basis, reduce the need for increasing your generation. Generation is one of the most, we'll say, at least at this point, one of the most greenhouse gas producers that there is in terms of what we have to live with. And you know, we've got coal power plants. You know, of course, nuclear is not very has not been very active over the last bunch of years. We don't have much opportunity for for wind here in Arkansas. They're probably over in the Ozarks. There may be some areas that might have some ability to utilize that. So, you know, solar is one of the main opportunities that we have to utilize renewables in terms of that. And I think, you know, absent conflicting with the neighbor's property, it's something that we ought to really try to encourage as much as possible. Two things I worry about under the current environment we're living in, and that's Putin pushing the button. And secondly is, you know, not being able, Lord, if we can't get together as a globe more than we are right now, the ability of us to globally reduce greenhouse gas emissions and help to make efforts toward reduction of climate change. California's burning up right now. Well, New Mexico, I think, and Utah, is it Utah that's burning up right now? And then, you know, I think Florida and those areas, the East Coast is about to float away in some instances. So, you know, the only thing good about being 75 years old right now is it doesn't look like I'm going to have to live into that, the bigger implications of it. So I think anything that we can do to support and encourage people to be a part of doing what this family is doing is going to be beneficial for the entire globe.
To that point, Van, does staff have any idea of when, like a timeline for a proposed change? Okay.
No, it'll be in the near future as soon as we can kind of get some more information. And we want to talk to CAW too, because that's a big deal for them. They are agreed to the first part. We want to see what that might be, what it might mean for solar fields versus individual replacement usage. You know, I don't think there'll be an issue with the individual single family replacement usage, but when you start trying to generate more than that, then you go commercial, whether it's in a small amount or a large amount. So that's another matter. So we'll have to figure that out when we get to it.
Power plants are prohibited in the lake.
Yeah, they're prohibited.
Okay, and you mentioned CAW.
Central Arkansas Water.
I'm just curious how. Oh, because of water. Okay,
That's right.
Thank
That's
you.
how why we had the regulations.
Right,
in the first place.
right. Yes, sir.
One of the things before I left office, so it's been out there a long time, I don't know if they've made any modifications or what kind of success that they may have had, but Maybelline installed some solar, and you know, I had a chance to join Governor Beebe when they dedicated some solar panels out there, and I think that's one of the more active industries right now in Arkansas.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, and just so I'm clear, I have a card for Chris Centofonte, but that's on the land use plan, which is not. Were you wanting to speak to this item?
No.
Because the land use plan wasn't on the agenda as originally.
Yeah, it's for quorum board.
Okay. Oh, thank you. All righty. All right. I was going to give you every opportunity if that was the time.
Can I take her time?
All right. So I will entertain a motion on Mark and Lori White solar
We've already
array.
got a motion.
Oh, we do have a motion. That's right. In a second. That was a discussion.
I think I was the second too.
Well, you made
I
the
made the
motion.
motion.
Who was the second?
I think,
I think-
I knew it was him.
Yeah.
We have Pat making the motion.
And Mark seconded.
Seconded.
Okay, there we go.
So the motion is to approve the variance.
Correct.
That's correct. So thank you for keeping us alive. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. There's no other business, no chairman communication. Is there anything the staff would like to communicate from the perspective of the Board of Zoning Adjustment?
Not this time.
Okay,
So we adjourn.
all right.
Second.
In a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Congratulate the chairman in 31 minutes.
May I give this to Angela? May I give this to Angela? May I give this to Angela? May I give this to Angela?